Hey guys, it's Lexio Blackmoon. We're about to do the bottom 10 characters. This is going to get controversial, and I know for a fact I'm going to get some hate for this. Because once again, I have very unpopular opinions. And I know that one character that a lot of people love is quite low on my list. But anyway, with that being said, I got no honorable mentions this time. Some of my lower picks on this list were a bit more nitpicky, but I can confirm that, 7 and down, I dislike them. So, let's get in. Number 10, Raito. The shit that this old man did to Axel Blaze and Jude Sharp, and pretty much everyone he came across. I do not care if this is BlueLock, this is a football dude named Raito, he is still responsible. I understand that that was a completely different series, but you don't make a guy in football called Raito. He will be hated by association. Number 9, Junichi Wanama. We could have got to see a player like Emon, or even Kuon return, but instead, we had Wanama. We could have got to see some scenarios where Emon actually got to play out of net. We could have got to see some scenarios of Kuon now having to reconcile for his actions. I get that Kuon did the whole tackling Nagi and getting a foul, but no, we could see Kuon actually having to deal with the fact that he backstabbed his team, and now he's got to play in the NEL with them. But instead, we got the human equivalent of lukewarm piss, who we had to then deal with for the rest of the series. No, I'm not accepting it. He should have never survived. He could have been on Barou's team instead of Naruhaya, and we could have had Naruhaya survive, because his backstory was so depressing. But no, we had to get Wanama. For fuck's sake. Number 8, Otoya. Oh, Otoya. Eita Otoya. Where do I start with you? He's very overrated. I don't particularly hate this character, but he is definitely very overrated. They act like he's much better than he is. He should have never been top 6. He should have never scored a goal in the NEL. And he certainly should not have started against BM. I know that that's controversial because Barcher didn't have any of the good players, but they should have used a background character instead of him. I think similar to other characters who were made seem really big and then fell off, Otoya should have been abandoned. After the top 6 moment and playing in the U20 game, he should have been eliminated. I don't like Otoya. He's just boring and annoying. He's a character who just keeps succeeding for no reason. The definition of falling upwards. Number 7, Tokimitsu. Tokimitsu. You could have been really cool. You could have had one of the greatest awakenings in all of BlueLock. You awaken and gain confidence. But instead he wasted potential. He's someone, I think Otoya should have went down the same road as him, where, yeah, Tokimitsu did just fall off. But the difference is, Tokimitsu had more potential, which is why I'm a bit more upset at the fact that Tokimitsu fell off. I think the one saving grace that causes me not to dislike this character more is he at least didn't take up a survivor spot when he didn't deserve it. Unlike the next character I'm going to talk about. Number 6, Kyorajin. This little midget is overhyped. I don't care that I called him a midget, he is definitively short in the series. He's overhyped, he has legit done nothing. I genuinely think, after the assist, Kaneshiro forgot he existed in the PXG game. For real, he did 1 assist, and he's surviving. Why? He shouldn't be the survivor. He should have been out. He should have never even played PXG. He got so hyped up in episode Nagi, and he wasn't that great there, but at least there was some inkling of he could be cool. And then in the Ubers game, he also got hyped up. And then we saw the episode Nagi, and I was like, okay, we're gonna have a meal with Kyora's playtime. And then he got a single assist that wasn't even that cool. The goal was cool. The assist, meh. You made a 0 spin pass. Cool. I don't give a shit. He should be out. I don't like Kiora. Number 5. The most controversial person who's going to be on this list. Actually, no, he's not. There's definitely a more controversial one later on. But I feel like this is going to be the most overall controversial. Yo Hiyori. A lot of you are going to hate me for this. But Yo Hiyori. No, he didn't. He did 1 assist and guaranteed his survival. He did 1 assist in the Ubers game and had a guaranteed survivor spot. He didn't even need to do anything in the PXG game. He could have been on the bench the whole time and he still would have survived. That is ridiculous. I get Kiora did the same, but the difference is Kiora did 1 assist and survived, but Kiora literally just did the 1 assist, and I think most people can agree the 1 assist was not enough to survive. Whereas Hiyori, he did 1 assist, guaranteed to survive, and it makes no sense. He should have never played against Ubers. It was bad writing that 1 assist made him an untouchable character. A character that was legit featless prior to the U20. He somehow has metavision in his second shown match, despite being made out to be a lower level player. And you may be asking, what do you mean made out to be a lower level player? In the 3rd selection, Hiyori talks about how he was using isagi to keep up. And yet in his second actual match, he somehow has metavision. Even though isagi played... isagi... It makes no sense that he just dropped my phone out of anger. He shouldn't have survived. This guy, honestly, maybe he's higher up on my list. Maybe I've done a disservice to the next 2 people. No, they definitely deserve to be lower. Maybe the next guy should be 5th and he should be 4th. Now that I'm recording this, I'm starting to think maybe I should change things around. But I'm not going to. I don't like Hiyori, and no one's going to make me change my mind. Because he's the definition of arsehole as a character. He shouldn't be this good. At least with every other character, especially with someone like Corona, they played, and despite Corona surviving, he played, and he showed that he wasn't insanely overpowered, but he was good enough to survive. Brand new characters, in this situation, if you're a brand new character, sure, you can be insanely overpowered, but the issue is, Hiyori wasn't a brand new character. Hiyori was back in the 3rd selection. If we wanted to see any insanely overpowered characters from the 2nd selection survivors, they should have shown their insane overpoweredness in the 3rd selection or U20 game. Like characters like Karasu and Yukimiya did. Otoya kinda did. Otoya had more showings than Hiyori, but for some reason, yeah, it makes no sense and I don't like it. I think he should have been eliminated. Number 4, Igaguri. I feel bad for putting Igaguri here now. I think I should have definitely put him in 5th place, but I'm gonna keep going. He was very annoying. It was clear he was meant to be comic relief, but I found nothing funny. He failed time and time again to make me laugh, and just angered me when he was on screen, because it just took away, screen time for characters I wanted to see more of. Number 3, the world's worst goalkeeper, Fukaku Gen. Would have preferred literally anyone else to have survived over him. You know what? Literally have any other player survive and just throw them in net. They'll probably do better. You know, Gagamaru did better in his first game in net than Fukaku did. You know, get someone else in net for the first time, they'll probably outplay Fukaku. This man shouldn't be anywhere near sports. Get rid of him. He should be gone. Number 2, Ryusei Shido. This is the community's fault. I mean, not just the community's fault. I don't like Shido, but a lot of this comes from the community. I have to research this series a lot, and you don't get how many just random Shido fanfics that block research. Like, I'll look up for Shido information from the Neo-Egoist Bible, and I'll just get fucking random fanfictions just piling up on my feed. The suggested is just all random Shido being naked and stuff. I'm like, why do I want this? I don't. Leave me alone. Let me get my research, because I don't even want to spend too much time with this character. Trying to find the image I used of Shido in my latest video, I had to deal with scrolling past the panel of Shido naked, like 3 times before I could actually find it. What is wrong with this community? Like, this is on you guys. Why are you doing this? Also, a lot of people decide to make some very brain-dead arguments of Shido's a better striker than Barou. The fact that some people genuinely believe Shido is one of BlueLock's best strikers, it just shows that a lot of people don't actually read the manga. I hate the character for it, but also, just the way he behaves. I have a vendetta against him because he eliminated my favourite character and has now caused my favourite character to go on a downward spiral of just being a worse character than he was before, that being Kunigami. So I really hate him for that. And the way the community uses him, and the amount of, like, Shido glazers who just don't seem to get Shido is not that good. Shido's only good with a good passer, but it's so painstaking to try and explain that. I hate it. Sorry if I've just insulted people in the community, by the way. That was just very heated of, please, just fucking, can we all move past Shido and just forget he exists? Number 1 worst character. I don't think anyone is shocked to see this coming. Noel. Hashtag justice for Neru. I swear to God, I want to see everyone in the comments hashtag justice for Neru. If I do not see comments saying hashtag justice for Neru, I will be livid. Right, so, Noel, this guy is just not the best striker in the world. That is just not a thing. I do not believe it. You can say he is, you can give him that title, but he's not. I can't believe he's the best when he doesn't have any ball knowledge. He literally has a football IQ of 0. Because when you look at his NEL performance, you can say, oh, doing a coaching is a very different job to being a player. It is, and I get that. But when you are a player with a solid football IQ, you know what plays can be made. Isagi shows this. He was able to do very well at coaching the team through it. You've then got Chris Prince and Snuffy. They were so tactical as coaches. They did really well. So you've got the world's best striker who can't even coach a team to save his life. He even tried to make excuses of, like, I was just trying to do this to make Kaiser a better rival to me. No, that's bullshit. No, your excuses make no sense, because if you wanted Kaiser to be a better rival for you, you would have made Kaiser focus on the offense and not forced Kaiser and Isagi to constantly be doing every fucking job on the team. Also, before I let you get onto the next person's video, or, well, next person's part of the video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And if this video hits an entire 1 like, yes, 1, I know it's an insane goal, Tsuki will crack an egg over his head for the next video. And if this video hits 100 likes, then we will take the top comment suggestion for a video. Yeah, I haven't covered this with everyone else. This is a decision I've made, and it's gonna end up in the video, because Tsuki does what I say. Anyway, for now, this is Lexio Blackmoon signing off. I hope you guys enjoyed, and enjoy everyone else's lists, because I'm very curious to see them.
Hey guys, it's Kat back at it to reveal my top 10 least favorite BlueLock characters. Except I couldn't think of 10 characters I hate, so this will be my top 8. Bear in mind, these are my opinions, and you are free to drag me in the comments if you disagree. Without further ado, here they are. In 8th place is Okawa. This one's not even because I dislike him, it's more that I just do not care about him at all. I guess the only thing I can say I don't care for is his design, but even then it's not completely true because it is a standout design. Grouping 7th and 6th place together, we have Junichi in 7th and Keisuke Wanama in 6th. The only reason Junichi is below his twin in terms of who I dislike is because he was at least quiet. Really, the only thing I dislike is how creepy he looks and the constant feeling of, I want to swat you away with a broom whenever I look at him. Keisuke is above his brother because he never shuts up. He was super annoying to listen to whenever he was talking down to Chickadee, especially when he was psyching him out with his glass genius comment. Adding on that his design is creepy and you've got a really annoying character that makes me want to throw my phone across the room. In 5th place is Noel Noah. He's mostly here because of his whole deal with using isagi, even though I probably should have guessed he didn't have the best intentions coming to the NEL. Despite being interesting due to his potential backstory with Ego, I'm still not the biggest fan of him because he did so many players dirty during the NEL. Hashtag Justice for Nerd 2025. In 4th place is Fukaku. He's here for the same reasons everyone else dislikes him, because he took the place of someone that could have been better. Only reason he did survive? Goalkeeper plot armor. He's a total waste that only ever had tell don't show type of writing. In 3rd place is Ikiguri. Why has he survived this long? Other than being the author's favorite, what has he done? Nothing. Not to mention, he gets so hard to watch when he's on my screen. So glad that he's gone. In 2nd place is Hoichi. Oh god, I cannot stand this guy. He only exists to be Baratsu's lapdog, and dear god, he has potentially one of the worst designs ever seen. I cannot stand him, and I'm so happy we have someone to replace him in the form of my goat Henri and her coworker Ego. And in 1st place is Baratsuta. From sexualizing Henri to sneaking behind Ego's back to bring Nagi back, this man is the bane of my existence. Every time I see him in the leaks, I genuinely want to throw my phone across the room. Don't even know why he's here other than to make photos for punching bags. Not to mention, he's ugly. I hate him. He has zero character depth. I want to drop kick him down the stairs and let his brains spill out like an omelet. Anyways, those are my least favorite characters. Drag me in the comments if you want. But this is Kat, hopping off. Alright, once again it's Kat here reading Tsuki's script because he is still pretty busy doing his own things. Once again, when I say it's referring to Tsuki's note, not mine, unless I say Kat's note. Knowing he is the wild card, if you want to blame someone for anything bad, blame Tsuki. I guess I gotta go Lex Luthor mode because it's a D1 hating to my full potential time. In 10th place is Hajime Nishioka. So this man did nothing wrong, it's more of the fan base that overhyped him as this big deal, and trust me, I'm one of them. We all thought he would finally be shown in Munchen City vs FC Barca game, and he never did. This hurt because one of my top videos was my Nishioka theory, so this man really wasted my time with him just for him to never do anything. It was so frustrating, he made me look like an idiot, so he makes it on the list. In 9th place is Keisuke Wanama. I remember whether it was the anime or the manga, when experiencing this match, he was just yapping too much. He never shut up, and as the mouthpiece for his brother, he always looked down on everyone, and it's funny how he was ranked over his brother, but didn't make it to the 2nd selection because he didn't score more goals than Junichi. Like, honestly, the main reason he's here is because how he tried to shut Chickadee down in high school, and was not a good person. Neither was his twin, but he was doing all the talking, so at least Junichi felt like a silent, arrogant prick. Meanwhile, Keisuke was the one who never shut up. In 8th place is Benedict Grimm. I feel like his playstyle is underrated. He wasn't like an NPC looking in Birkenstock and Mensa. This guy was sending bullet curve passes with ease, using his bulky body to avoid dispossessions. The thing that annoyed me, though, about him wasn't his playstyle, because it was perfectly fine. Bro only got subbed in because Izagi's system was thriving more than Kaiser's system. And Noah wanted to push Kaiser to evolve, so Grimm coming out was just him being a pawn in Noah's game. The reason he is here is because he's basically introduced as a masochistic version of Aryu, which already annoyed me, and then after one chapter of this, we never see it again, as if Kaneshiro regretted giving him that character trait again. He does have the dramatic one-liners after chapter 157, like, bees are fated to fall, but yeah, he's just a bulkier Aryu who's a masochist, and there is nothing about his character or playstyle that makes me like him. Cat note here, the one thing I do like about him is his hair. It is very, very cool. In 7th place is Eric Gesner. People who picks their ears give me the ick, so when I saw him do that, I immediately hated him. He's also spamming the most uncoolest catchphrase, dick cheese. Like, bro, it's not cool at all. Oh. And he only played in 1 game, so like, sayonara. In 6th place is Tanaka Shingen. How the heck did this man place 5th in the 100 gold challenge? Then bro never did anything relevant in the series. Bro was so trash, even Snuffy didn't play him. He gives me the ick, like touching his boogers and showing it off. Thank God I never have to see him again. In 5th place is Leonardo Luna. This man is a straight up racist and just a cruel-hearted person in general, trash-talking BlueLock, saying they spent so much money on the project that has so little chance of being successful, gambling their lives on a wish that'll never bear fruit. Japanese people really are the world's biggest masochists. When he sees Rin still trying to win the match despite the match difficulty and the score being 1-4, he puts us all into discouraging Rin. When he reveals what his ego is, it's twisting his heart. I believe we are going to see way more Luna moments in the main World Cup or Champions League arc. I don't think this guy, he is a good guy at all. Bro might be top 5 evil characters in the series. Although Bunny is taking the attention for the person who may have destroyed Sai and made him change positions, but I still believe Luna had some sort of impact with Sai. Even though Sai went to play for the main squad, sub-squads can face off against main squads, so I believe it's possible that Luna did destroy Sai in the past, and no one disrespects my goat and walks away cleanly, especially one with a twisted heart. So I just don't like Luna, so yeah, on to number 4. 4th place is Gen Fukaku. This guy is here for one reason, and that's Japan needs more than one goalkeeper. He is here due to plot armor. I actually know how he got his 28 million bid. It's my best TikTok video. If you want to follow, please go follow. But yeah, his character design sucks. He is feetless, and he has not done anything for me to care about him. In 3rd place is Hirotoshi Baratsuta. This tanuki is always in my top 5 most hated characters, bro. From the first chapter, when sexualizing Henri in chapters 1 and 4, he always be hating on ego, even though he always brings results. He is right about some things, and does have some good. I do have a video about that too. However, whether it be backing Nagi, having Shido sub on the pitch, making BlueLock merch, it's all beneficial to the BlueLock project in some sense, but its reason is not pure righteousness. One question for you guys is, how many eggs can you fry on Baratsuta's head? Lastly, his smile scares me sometimes, so yeah, just looking at it gives me the ick. In 2nd place is Yasumori Hikoichi. I was so excited to see a coach that wasn't ego, but he is just trash. He is also the ugliest character in the series, so seeing him in every scene makes me mad. Even Sai could coach his team better than him. Bro has no idea what he's doing. Lastly, he's pretty much only here because he's Baratsuta's favorite pet. In 1st place is Aoshi Tokimitsu. He is just never cool. He's just a bulky man with no stamina issues, but he is like Shido, where he is not improved from the point he entered the series. But at least Shido's talent still works on the world-class level, which sadly Tokimitsu's does. When they bring up the word fraud, Tokimitsu comes first to mind. I just don't like his negative, unconfident personality. It's not cute, it's just plain annoying. From his first panel, I knew I would always hate him. The only man who can change that is Luna or Bunny or anyone who hurts my goat badly. Anyways, that's my list. Stay blessed. Tsuki out.
Hello everybody, this is Serena Rosa's portion of the video. And if you saw my portion for the favorites, I promise this part is going to be a lot smaller.
But you did this for what?
Why not?
Why?
Why not?
Why though?
I think this topic actually helps, since I thought it'd be hard to pick my top 10 least favorite characters, but I actually found it easier in a way, since I have so many characters that I truly do love in BlueLock. But I think the common thing on my least favorite list is that these characters overall just don't interest me. There's like 3 characters on here that I do have legit reasons for disliking them, but everyone else just doesn't interest me. So it was actually easier to pick, since even background characters have an interest to me, just knowing what they could potentially have in the future. But I can't say the same for the majority of these characters here. So without a further ado, let's get into the list. And at the 10th place spot, meaning they are my least favorite character, we have Michael Kaiser. I went back and forth on including Kaiser on this list since he is far from one of the characters that doesn't interest me. In fact, I think Kaiser is extremely interesting, and especially getting to know him during the Bastard versus PXG match, my interest only grew. But I can't deny that while I find him fascinating as a character, I just don't like him. And mainly it's the way that he treats Ness just makes me very uncomfortable. I think he's an essential part to the story, and he very easily could get off this list in the future. But for now, he's my least favorite character. But obviously, he's one of the coolest designs. No one could deny that. Next, going from a main character to a fully background character, which is U20's former coach. I think this guy could have been an interesting character, representing everything that Ego isn't as a coach, money-driven, holding on to tradition, and most of all, not actually caring about his team. But instead, we barely see him. I do wish that even if he wasn't going to be a good character, he would have gotten more of a focus to really show the importance of a coach to a team and how lucky the BlueLock players were to have Ego as a coach. So I think that parallel could have been very interesting, but instead he's just kind of there. And if there's one thing I dislike more than an annoying character, it's a boring one. So this is why he gets this spot on the list. All right, next we got one of the pros, Leonardo Luna. And yeah, he's on here because of the way that he talked about the BlueLock characters, obviously trying to egg them on before the match. Since I prefer an approach like Loki, not having to put down others but just showing off your skills on the field, since Luna knows he's obviously about to wipe the floor with an essentially what's high school level football players at this point in the manga, but considering he's the adult in this situation, it really does show his true colors. But Luna does have the potential to be an interesting character, since we likely will see him again, either in a flashback or in person when we finally see what happened between Sai and Bunny. Alright, next on my list, we have another pro, which is Adam Blake. And I promise this is the last World 5 member on this list. But the reason why I picked him is similar to Luna, since of course he has a very poor opinion of the BlueLock players and just Japanese players in general, which we need characters like these. They are a necessity to the story, since Ego's trying to fundamentally change Japanese football and make them into a global team that is respected. So we need to know how other countries view them, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. Plus, his strange comments throughout the match made me very uncomfortable, so he gets this spot. Next, we have Ray Dark, the president of PIFTA. So I actually do have a lot of thoughts on this character and think he is quite fascinating, but I am going to make a future video on my channel on his character, so I won't go into too much detail here. But yeah, Ray Dark is clearly a character we aren't supposed to like. Every time we see him, there's just this very menacing air around him. And I think the moment we learn even just a bit more about his character, he will quickly climb up my dislike list. But for now, while he's a mostly mysterious figure, he'll remain at this spot. For the 5th place spot, we have the Wanama brothers, and they're mostly here because of how disappointing their characters were. We got introduced to them during the first selection as antagonists, the same time we met characters like Nico, Barou, Nagi, Raito, and Zatetsu, but it's hard to remember since even back then I thought they were the least interesting of the antagonists, since it was already pretty scummy of them to decide to cheat, but clearly you know it's because they didn't have the skills to back up their trash talking, since after one of the brothers leave, we basically never see the other one again. So I do think they are wasted potential, since I do like the concept of twins where their main ability relies on the other. So I just hope the author introduced this idea again with better characters next time. Okay, so for this next pick, it might sound slightly silly, but just let me explain. We have Izuki's original coach as my next pick. So now, I know what you're thinking. Serena, this guy was in one episode. Why is he this high up? And it's because of how impactful his actions were. If you read Izuki's spin-off novel, then you know at some point he was one of the best players in his community. But due to poor coaching, his ego got sealed off. And I mean, I already didn't like him in the first 5 minutes we got to see him, but learning just how much his actions really affected Izuki makes me just dislike him even more. And then he had the nerve to cry during their loss. Sir, it's your fault. So yeah, my beef with him is very personal and I know very silly, but he's going to remain this high up on my list. For the third place spot, we have the monk Igagori. And okay, I know Igagori is an easy character to just dislike, but I have my reasons. One of them being that he's the quote-unquote comedy relief character. I just never found him that funny. Like, the running gag that he always just makes it to the next selection could have happened once, I guess twice. But when the other main characters actually started getting booted off, like Kamagami during the second selection, it just stopped being funny altogether. I didn't find it funny the first time, but now it especially was not funny. And I think my frustration with Igagori also just lacks in his lack of improvement, since he could have still gotten eliminated, but it at least would have been nice to see him learn new skills, and I could have appreciated his character more if he tried. But the only thing that he had in the PXG match was fouling people once again. And then he wanted to act surprised that he didn't make it onto the team. So yeah, I think for those reasons, that's where my main frustration lies with his character. And I just need more from him besides the comedy and lack of skills if he ever does come back into the story. For the second place spot, this probably isn't a surprise to most, since if you ask most people to make this list, he would probably be on their list, which is Barasta. He's clearly one of the main antagonists of the story, since oftentimes he's the one creating the main conflicts, like trying to shut down BlueLock and now creating B-side. We aren't supposed to like Barasta, and yeah, I don't. He represents all the things opposite to ego, and like I thought what the U20 coach was going to be, he represents all those things. And once again, he is a necessary character to the story, since I'm not gonna knock it when a character is needed to a story, but that doesn't mean I have to like them. So of all these characters, including member 1, Barasta is just that character that I don't think is ever going to leave the list, since he is just supposed to be a representation of all the things we dislike about the industry. Alright, for the member 1 spot, you might or might not have guessed it at this point, but we have the member 1 striker himself, Noel Noah. And I know, it might seem like I'm purely just putting him here because of the history with my channel and this character, but I have legitimate reasons for putting him here. Noel Noah is the member 1 striker, so why is he so boring? Like I said, I could forgive a character if they're annoying, but just don't be boring. Noel Noah, if he was almost any other character, then I could have forgiven this, but he's eventually supposed to be the main antagonist of the story, and I'm just not feeling it. Like, I thought his bland personality would be fixed after the reveal, since I thought this was all a part of his charade. But honestly, during the reveal, while I did get excited, I quickly realized after, oh, he's just like that. Plus, like I said in other videos and stuff, I just thought his plan in the NEL with Kaiser was dumb. I'm sorry. So for all these reasons, Noel Noah will just continue to be my member 1 rival until he actually interests me as a character. Well, that's been my list. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comments.
You know, I really struggled with this list.
Oh shit, here we go again.
And it's mainly because it's not something I've really given any thought to. Like, most of the times you only think about the things you actually like, and you sort of suppress the things that you don't like. So making a list of my least favorite BlueLock characters was never something I ever thought about really. And so I really struggled to come up with my top 10 or worst 10 or least favorite characters. Maybe I'm too nice of a guy, because seriously, just getting 10 players that I can say that I don't like in the BlueLock series truly had me racking my brain. And I think some of these guys on on my list are a bit of a stretch. But what can you do, eh? You just gotta go by what pops up into mind. And so when it comes to my least favorite BlueLock characters, here are my top 10. With honorable mention to Loki. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this guy. Honestly, I think he's way too arrogant. I mean, sure, he's got the God-given talent of speed. Cool, so you won the genetic lottery. But what does that actually do for your character? And I feel like a lot of people don't actually see this arrogance coming from Loki. He parades himself as a nice guy. You know, one of the boys. I'm 17 just like you. I'm a footballer just like you. But in truth behind it all, I'm convinced this guy thinks he's better than everyone else. I mean, it kinda showed in the NEL, didn't it? But I clocked it from early. From the time when Isagi and Rin's team had to play the World 5, I could tell this guy was putting on a mask. And I truly think once BlueLock gets to play against France in the World Cup, that mask is gonna slip right off. Next honorable mention, Igarashi Girimu. I mean, I've never been a fan of this guy. I never really even thought of him as comedic relief. It sort of always irked me seeing him always in the fray. He even made it into the bench for the U20 match. But did anyone really believe that he'd actually get onto the pitch? I don't think so. And honestly, I'm glad to see the back of him. Although, when he did appear to Nagi at the arcade at the end of the NEL, I thought he had that shit on. I mean, he was really looking drippy. And because of that, he only just didn't make it onto my list. But in all seriousness, I'm not that big of a fan of Igaguri, and I don't think I ever will be. But I don't hate him either. I'm just impartial to it all. Now, let's actually get into my real bottom 10 list. And holding 10th spot for my least hated of my least favorite characters is Kiora Jin. Awesome design, cool looking guy, and he's pretty short, a little bit like me, but I'm not buying that borderline gimmick. Honestly, it kind of pissed me off that he passed it to Kaiser in that moment. It did make for a good goal, a wonderful goal in fact, but for me it was just so unnecessary. And then afterwards he tried to act all cool like he has any say on the matter. Truth is, this guy didn't do nothing that whole game. Isagi had good reason to refuse him coming onto the pitch during the Ubers match, because let's be honest, he did not offer much apart from that assist to Kaiser. But yeah, for me, Kiora's attitude isn't something I'm too fond of. I didn't even like it in the episode of Nagi's chapters either. So he can hold number 10th spot for my least favorite characters. Now, in number 9, I have Noel Noah. Yeah, I don't like Noel Noah. I don't like him at all. I don't like him as a coach, and he doesn't move me as a player either. Cool, he's the best striker in the world, but he's a little bit of a boring character, and he's also a boring striker. Honestly, I much prefer Isagi's playstyle to Noel Noah's in fact. It really surprises me that he won the top striker popularity poll the way he did. I guess the talent speaks for itself, but as for the personality, much to be desired. And I think I would say the same for his coaching skills. Like I said before, Noel Noah, don't quit your day job. Now, let's talk about number 8 on my least favorite characters list, and that would be Alexis Ness. Not because I don't like the way he plays football, not because I don't like his character design, but simply because he's a bitch boy. Honestly, it's through no fault of his own. His parents didn't help, his siblings didn't help, Kaiser didn't help, but neither did Ness. Ness didn't help himself. And even though he sort of redeemed himself at the end of the NEL, I still can't overlook all the weak stuff he did throughout the season. That was one jealous brother, and you can tell he's never been with a bad bitch before. But onwards from Ness, in number 7, I have Birkenstock and Mensa. These two for me come in a pair. I don't like them simply because they are bad at their jobs, but somehow still get to keep their place. Imagine being a McDonald's worker and delivering 0 burgers to your customers and still keeping your job. Man, what was Noel Noah thinking? He's partly to blame for this. But yeah, these guys, they go down on number 7 for me because of just how ultra forgettable they are. Now, after Birkenstock and Mensa, in number 6, I have the Wanima brothers, and particularly Kisuke Wanima, the younger one, the one that actually speaks. Because even though I don't like the mute one, at least I don't have to actually hear him talk any nonsense. Whereas Kisuke, with that awfully arrogant smile of his, thinking that he's top dog, and the fact that he's willing to cheat his way to the top, yeah, I don't like these guys, and I never will. So they can hold that spot in my least favorite characters list. And just up from them, this might be a surprise to many, but for me, it's Adam Blake. Like, what? Like, yeah. Honestly, I don't have much to say about him. It's just, he gives up a certain vibe that I really don't like. I've been to school and I've played alongside some Adam Blakes in my lifetime. And honestly, they're not the type of guys that I like to associate myself with. Super arrogant, super dismissive, and just all around rude. Yeah, he's not for me. So that's why he can hold number 5 on my least favorite characters. One up from him in number 4, give me Buratsuta. This short ass, money grabbing, greedy octopus is everything that's wrong in the footballing world. Corruption, greed, all he's thinking about is lining his pockets. And to what extent? Instead of helping develop people's actual dreams, he'd rather sell his soul for a bit of cash. And honestly, he looks like he might be a lackey to Ray Dark, but regardless, people like him are part of the reason why football associations around the world are struggling. But with the success of BlueLock, I just can't see him actually eating any humble pie, because he's in a win-win situation. If BlueLock succeeds, he succeeds, and if BlueLock fails, he still succeeds. Yeah, one of the worst people you could have leading your association. I'm definitely not a fan. Now we get into the business end of things. And so in number 3, I have Mr. Miss the Shot, or better known as Tomonori Tada. And for those of you who might not know who this guy is, he's the guy that hit the post in the 2-on-1 situation that Isagi managed to create in his prefecture match in the first chapter of BlueLock. Now, you might ask why I put him on here. And it's not simply because he missed, but it's because he actually had the audacity to say that Isagi was lucky to be where he's at. My word, have some introspective. The guy told Isagi to pass it because they really needed the point and proceed to miss it, and all he could do was cry and then say that. Mate, I'm getting worked up. But yeah, he's number 3 for me. We'll leave it at that. Let's move on. Now, at number 2, we're getting really serious. I have Wataru Kuon. Kuon represents the type of people that I hate, not just in football, not just in games, not just in sports, but just in life in general. Life had dealt you a hardship, and instead of working on yourself and getting better, and instead of removing yourself from the toxic environment, you instead decide to become the toxicity yourself. Man, I hate cheaters. Whether it may be a little game with no stakes, or whether it's professional sports and industries, I just hate those that take the shortcut. If there are rules, no matter how unfair, you must abide by them if you want to participate. And though I understand why Kuon became the way he is, for me, it still doesn't excuse what he did. Yes, you can redeem yourself in the end, but that thought process in the first place is just something that I just can't get behind. I'm sorry, Kuon, but you're one of my least favorite characters in manga, full stop. Now, we finally get to my number 1 pick for my least favorite BlueLock characters. And for me, this one goes out to Daddy Kaiser, and by extension, Mommy Kaiser too. Both of them despicable. Firstly, abandoning your child like that, shame on you. And secondly, abusing your child like that, yeah, you deserve everything that's coming to you, mate. These type of people are scum of the earth. It doesn't fully excuse Kaiser's own behavior, but the primary ones to blame are these selfish imbeciles known as his parents. What they did to their own flesh and blood, I could never forgive. And so for me, I'll forever look at these guys, especially Kaiser's dad, as some of the worst, most despicable human beings in the world. And really, I understand why Kaiser's mom didn't want to stay. I don't think there'll ever be any one character I hate as much in the series as Kaiser's dad. If Kaneshiro manages to make one up for us, hey, that is some feat, and hold tight to it. But yeah, they are my number 1 pick. I actually probably forgot about some other characters that could have made this list, but these are the ones that actually came to mind. So I guess these are the ones that actually weren't being on my list. Let me know what you guys think.